In the previous episode, we talked about the Mungi and the war that formed the Ogari Omu Islam. In this episode, we continue west to the desert lands of the Dahe to talk about the convoluted politicking that would define this region for the rest of the game. Unlike other regions we've talked about, the early days of this region weren't dominated by conquest, but rather trade and diplomacy. Indeed, the first actions of the awakened Dai tribes in the Shanwei and Daishu would be to start sending traders up and down the rivers to the nearby people, creating this massive trade network that saw all manner of exotic goods flowing up and down and in between. This, in turn, brought great wealth to the merchants of the tribes, who began to dabble in recreational activities such as flute playing, with common ones being made of clay or wood, while more extravagant ones of ivory and copper would be reserved for the royalty. Building on this period of good times, the awakened tribes would attempt to gain favor with the other tribes using extravagant gifts of artwork, metalworking, silks, and spices, imported from the mainland, solidifying these alliances with marriages between the dynastic families. This was very successful, with the Daishu marrying the daughter of Emperor Azo Li Fang into the Hopi royal family, with the only stipulation being that the throne would fall to the child between their son and his daughter, which was easily accepted, forming the Daishu. They also ended up marrying their second daughter to the second son of the Chimhai, forming closer relations with them. Similarly, the Shanwei would also send their second daughter with their gifts, resulting in a marriage to the Chimhai's crown prince, forming a military alliance. In time, Emperor Shanwei Ren would visit the Chimhai and propose a dual crown system, wherein the two tribes would work together in a single banner, but retain much of their autonomy. The Chimhai emperor agreed, but had the condition that the child of their prince and the Shanwei's daughter would be the one to hold the title of Emperor of the Sun. With both the Shanwei and Daishu royal families interconnected through the Chimhai, they formed a military alliance. So, in short order, the Dai people were now united under two allied imperial courts. However, this region wasn't solely inhabited by the Dai people. To the north, those of Quiklong hadn't been idle. The awakened tribe of Quiklong Ua was definitely more militaristic than those of the south, conscripting those 16 years or older to head to the capital for training and forming the Quiklong Wang Yun, or Emperor's Army, of 5,000. The stated reason was to advance east towards Tanghong-a and assimilate the fake imposters who leech off the rightful lands of the Quiklong nation. But despite initial posturing and the establishment of a coastal colony to the north, guarded by some 200 warriors, no real conflict came about just yet. And continuing the trend of marriage alliances in the south, the emperor of the Quiklong Ua, Sun Yit-sam, would approach the king of Ho-chon-te with an offer of marriage. The king, having no heirs and recently losing his queen, agreed to marry the daughter of Sun Yit-sam, integrating them into the tribe. Meanwhile, the six major families of Quiklong Ua, who held great influence in the nation and enjoyed lavish positions of privilege, started hearing rumors of a pretender faction claiming to be the true emperor. Not wanting the nation to collapse back to its weakened state, they formed a secret intelligence agency of loyal servants to root this out. Back to the south, the merchants had been growing increasingly wealthy, to the point that their caravans were now being targeted by bandits regularly. This caused them to start hiring private armies of elite soldiers to defend their interests. To the west, the Daishu started working on a massive Confucianist temple requiring large numbers of workers, which they sourced from the slave markets of the Sun Empire. The Empire of the Sun would also arrange a marriage between the son of the Shan side and the daughter of the Quiklong, thus interconnecting 6 dynasties. With the integration of the Ho-chon-te, the emperors agreed that it was time to invade Tanghong-a, raising the Zhen-di-yun, or New Lands Army of 1,300, and the Ho-cho-ti-yun, or Army of the Ho-cho-en-te, of 3,000, moving them east to the border and declaring war. Emperor Azo Li Fang denounced the invasion, but didn't go any further. As a result of this invasion, the Daishu would send a delegate to Fa Te Po requesting they join the empire in exchange for protection. The Po family would agree to becoming a protectorate of the Dai Shupi, but warned they would resist any further integration, and the Dahe Empire was formed. So, you know how I said this region wasn't dominated by conquest? Well, we'll get to that, but first, the emperor is dead. Specifically, Shanwei Ren died, leaving the Shanwei Dynasty to his son, who is now married into the Quicklong. Because of the closeness the son felt with his wife, he asked son Yitsam to become his new adopted father. Son Yitsam agreed and united the two powers into the Quicklong Union. However, this union would be a short-lived one. Starting with the deaths of both the heirs to the Quicklong and Sun empires, the marriage that solidified the union was now gone, with no heir to continue it. With growing rumors of pretenders aiming for the throne, the Quicklong major families decided that a marriage between the 12-year-old daughter of the Yu family and the Shanwei dynasty would calm the fears of the people. On the Shanwei side, without a male heir to continue the line, the merchant guilds acted as well, supporting Shanwei Tai, the nephew of Shanwei Ren, as the new emperor. With the new emperor being so young, only 3, there was little doubt that the Grand Council that the merchants formed to advise the emperor would be the real power of the region. Still, it was better than collapsing. As the merchants consolidated their power and started buying the loyalty of the royal army, there were a few who disagreed with this. The Chimhai Emperor and Emperor of the Sun denounced the current emperor as illegitimate and started raising forces to depose him. However, the power of money speaks, and merchants were able to sway large portions of the populace to their side. While their forces were massing, Azo Li Feng would send a message to the rebels offering support and lands in exchange for their joining the empire and the Dahe royal family. The Chimhai's council were offended by the offer. The emperor becoming a simple governor? The emperor has been appointed by God. He shall not simply bow down to foreign rule. Despite this, the emperor was still open in a negotiation that wasn't a demand of submission. However, nothing of these talks would come in time. And this meant that the rebels would be surrounded and defeated, with the Chimhai emperor being tried in quick fashion, found guilty, and put into the deepest, darkest prison in the Shanwei capital, dissolving the dual monarchy and establishing Shanwei Tai as the Emperor of the Sun. While the troubles in the south were occurring, there were similar problems in the north. The Jilong family had risen in revolt, claiming to be the rightful rulers of the Quicklong. The Jilong were able to gain popular support by offering local autonomy and quickly raised large forces. The Quicklong had moved most of their forces to their eastern holding in preparation of expansion and were unprepared for this, losing their mainland quickly. With the only way forward being a costly naval invasion and not wanting to spend the lives of thousands of Quicklong, the emperor penned this letter with his surrender. I shall regret writing this letter for the rest of my life, but it has to be done to safeguard Quicklong Ua. You might have broken the family unity of this nation, but as long as no Quicklongese sheds the blood of another, all has to be forgiven. What I hope for as a last wish for this new nation is to crush the Tanghong state and lead the nation to a new, better era of prosperity. Shall your dynasty's reign be long and prosperous. Wen Shin Wen Shui, Wen Shui, Wen Shui. While the Union was collapsing in on itself, the Dahe were doing well, developing infrastructure and expanding their borders. Life was good. Envoys sent to the Tanghong A to discuss the state of the realm, but they didn't get anywhere quickly, bogged down in procedure and intrigue. However, Azo Li Feng's meeting with the Po family would go much better, offering them integration in exchange for invading the new Jinlong dynasty to the north. The Poes agreed so long as they were given governorship over the whole region. Azu agreed and sent an ultimatum to the Jilong. Accept Dahe overlordship and the rule of the Po over the river delta, and the Jilong would be allowed to retain governorship over the eastern territories, and even an offer of marriage to Wang Li Jin, who was to be the next emperor. Refuse, and the great armies of Dahe would roll over them. Well, nobody accused the Jilong of being reasonable, and they sent the heads of the diplomats back in a box, sparking war, with the Dahe raising another 15,000 troops. During this negotiation, the Grand Merchant Council of the Empire of the Sun had discovered the proposal the Dahe had offered to the Chimhai, but decided to not reveal it, instead choosing to join the Dahe royal family, uniting the two people and forming the Dahe Dynasty. Meanwhile, the now deposed Quiklong Emperor Sun Yat-sen would meet with the Jilong Emperor to discuss terms of surrender. Jilong was unequivocal. He was to endorse his claim to the throne and would be allowed exile across the Inner Sea. Failure would mean execution. He allowed the former emperor to choose 10 bodyguards and a ship to sail off. Though Sun had some reservations about the barbarity of the north, he saw he had no real choice and accepted, and sailed to parts unknown. It's here that we'll leave the story, with the formation of the Dahe Dynasty, the looming war with the Jilong, and an emperor sailing north.